This is your old self, the thoughts you repeat, the emotions you relive, the memories you won't release. And as long as you carry this, your reality can't change. The weight isn't always physical. Most of the time it's invisible, a silent load you've carried for years. But it's there in the tightness in your chest every morning, in the voice in your head that says, don't expect too much. In the patterns you swore you'd never repeat, but did anyway. It lives in your nervous system. Your chemistry, your micro-decisions. It's not just a past, it's a frequency. And like a song stuck on loop, your old self plays over and over while your dreams wait on pause. Here's what no one tells you. You can't step into your new life while being loyal to the energy of your past. Most people don't realize this. They try to manifest by thinking differently, by visualizing, by scripting. But underneath it all, they're still being the same person. Still waking up in the same emotional state, still remembering the same story, still expecting the world to shift while they stay energetically identical to who they were yesterday. Let's get honest. That identity, your old self, was built for one thing: survival. It was crafted during pain in response to rejection, failure, disappointment. You didn't choose it consciously. It was a reaction, a defense mechanism, a mask you learned to wear. But over time, that mask became familiar, comfortable. You forgot it was a mask, and now it feels like you. But what if it isn't? What if the voice in your head that says you're not ready or that's too risky isn't truth? It's just the voice of a past you haven't released yet. Quantum physics teaches us something revolutionary. Reality doesn't exist independently. It responds to the observer, to your state of being. You are not separate from the field. You are the field collapsed into form. So every time you wake up and embody that old self, guess what the universe delivers? More of the same. Not because you're cursed, not because you're doing it wrong, but because the field is loyal to coherence. And you are the tuning fork. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you're being. That's why this work isn't about becoming someone new. It's about unbecoming everything you're not. The old self wants to keep you safe, but safety is not your soul's purpose. Stagnation is not your destiny. That heavy identity you've carried, the one shaped by trauma, shame, failure, or rejection, is not the version of you who lives the reality you've glimpsed in your highest visions. That future reality is waiting, and it already exists, not in the distant future, but in a parallel vibration, in a frequency you align to, not chase. But here's the hard truth. You cannot access that reality while emotionally addicted to your past. You can't keep reliving guilt, resentment, or self-doubt and expect expansion. You can't show up as yesterday's version of yourself and lapse a timeline you've never met. So what do? In this video, we will break this loop. We will meet the old self, not to judge it, but to release it. We'll honor what it taught us, and then we'll let it go. Together, we will enter the quantum field, not with words, but with vibration. And I'll guide you in collapsing the energetic imprint of the past, so you can finally inhabit the version of you who already lives the life you've been asking for. Because the field isn't asking you to try harder, it's waiting for you to tune in differently. You are not stuck because your future isn't real. You're stuck because your identity keeps collapsing the same reality over and over. But once you shift that, once you release the weight, the wounds, the labels, you'll witness something extraordinary. Life will bend. Reality will reconfigure. The field will respond. Not because of what you said, but because of what you became. Now take a breath. Something is already stirring. It's not coming from outside you. It's awakening from within. Are you ready to meet the version of you that's already free? Let's continue. You wake up. Same bed, same thoughts, same internal narrative whispering through your mind before you even open your eyes. I hope today is different, you might think. But the moment your feet hit the floor, your body has already chosen otherwise. Why? Because long before your conscious mind begins to create, your subconscious identity has already taken over. You don't step into a new day, you step into an old self. Again, the body remembers. It remembers who you've been, not as memory, but as biology. Emotions become neurochemical patterns. Behaviors become automatic. Over time, you stop responding to the present moment. You simply replay the past over and over until the present stops feeling alive and starts feeling like déjà vu. According to Dr. Joe Dispenza, by the time you're 35 years old, 95% of who you are is a set of memorized behaviors. Emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions. In other words, most of what you call you isn't really you. It's programming, it's conditioning, it's the old self, and it's running the show. Bruce Lipton expands this. The moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body, which means that who you're being chemically, emotionally, energetically is writing the reality you're living. This is why change can feel so hard, because you're not just trying to shift your thought. You're trying to shift the emotional addiction your body has developed toward being that version of you. The self who expects disappointment, who's prepared for abandonment, who doesn't believe they're worthy of big things, not because they're broken, but because somewhere long ago they decided it was safer to expect less. You didn't choose to live this way, but at some point, your system decided that suffering was familiar, and what's familiar and becomes safe even if it hurts. This is the real prison, not the outer world, but the identity we're afraid to leave behind, even when it's making us sick, even when it's stealing our joy, even when we know deep down and it's not who we truly are. So let me ask you with compassion, not judgment, what emotions do you feel the most often? Is it regret, anger, shame, insecurity, doubt? What if those emotions aren't random? What if they're rehearsed? What if your body is addicted to those signals because they reinforce the chemical identity of the old self? And if that's true, what kind of reality do you think that emotional broadcast is attracting? Here's the brutal truth most people never confront. Your old self is not just a memory. It's a magnetic field. And the quantum field is listening not to your affirmations, not to your vision board, but to the emotional signature you carry 24/7. You may say you want love, but if your baseline is I am not enough, you will repel intimacy. You may visualize abundance, but if your emotional home is fear, you will unconsciously block opportunities, not because you don't deserve them, but because your nervous system has not yet updated the version of you who is aligned with receiving. That's why you can read all the books, take all the courses, repeat all the mantras, and still feel stuck. Because healing isn't just mental, it's vibrational, embodied, cellular. So what? Now first we bring awareness to this pattern, not to shame it, but to see it, to recognize that who you've been is not a fixed reality. It's a practice vibration, one that you can stop rehearsing the moment you decide to no longer identify with it. This isn't about self-hate. This is about self-liberation, about giving yourself permission to stop carrying the weight of the version of you that only existed, to survive a version of the world that no longer exists. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you start to observe your old self without merging with it, when you witness it from the eyes of your higher self, you become the observer. And in quantum terms, that changes everything. The observer collapses the wave. The moment you become aware of your old self as a pattern, you are no longer the pattern. You are the consciousness watching the pattern. And that awareness, that's the first crack of light in a whole new reality. So now I ask you to engage. Not just by liking or subscribing. I want something deeper. Take a moment and comment below with this phrase. I am ready to release the version of me that no longer matches my future. Not as a ritual, not as a trend, but as a declaration, a conscious interruption in the loop, a signal to the field that you are no longer available for the past. And if this message is touching something in, you ate something old, something sacred, something stirring, then I invite you to subscribe not just to this channel, but to this new frequency. This space is not about information, it's about transformation. And if you're ready for that shift, you are exactly where you're meant to be. We've been told to ask, to believe, to visualize, and yet so many of us are still waiting for something to click, for the money to arrive, for the right person to appear, for the breakthrough to finally happen. And when it doesn't, we question ourselves. We wonder if we're doing it wrong, if we're blocked, if maybe we're not meant for more. But what if the problem isn't that your desire is too big, but that your vibration is still too familiar? Here's the truth that most manifestation teachings leave out. The quantum field doesn't respond to your words. It doesn't react to your vision board. It doesn't even care what you say you want. It mirrors back only one thing, your state of being. This is the law of vibrational coherence. In quantum terms, coherence is when your heart, your mind, your emotions, and your actions are all aligned. It's the energetic yes the universe is waiting for, not the kind of yes that you write in a journal or